Times like now, for instance, when this Great Depression, like the war to end all wars and the terrible flu pandemic of 1918, which killed so many people, is still causing so much trouble for so many. Our big vegetable garden feeds lots of darling folk who are down on their luck, and the flower gardens we tend around town remind us that natural beauty is a balm for the spirit. We're sure you'll agree that without these, life would be pretty ugly and grim, especially when somebody you know decides to start burning down your town. Thank you for reading our book. Thank you, too, for the cards and letters and the packets of garden seed and the recipes you've been sending. We share them with our darling friends who appreciate them as much as we do. Sincerely, the Darling Dahlias. Prologue. Fire starter. The flame has a dozen bright, throbbing tongues, licking hungrily at the tender, dry grass, knee-high and brown after summer's growing. The fire starter stares at the flame, mesmerized, torn between the desire to do right and stamp it out, and the even more urgent need to let it go and do what it does best. He lets it go. It isn't his now, anyway. It's its own self, with its own appetites, its own greediness, its own freedoms. As with so many things in his sad and sorry life, once he starts something, events always take over. Like this fire, everything has to run its course, however it ends up. All he can do is watch. He sighs a long sigh. It's too bad that things have come to such a miserable pass. But, as Huey always says, this is through no fault of his own. He is just another of the downtrodden victims of the banks and the big corporations, doing whatever he has to do to hang on to what had come down to him through his daddy's and his granddaddy's hard work. The power mongers in Wall Street and Washington control the markets and manage the prices so nobody else can turn an honest dollar unless he's already a millionaire. And the millionaires are all as crooked as a dog's hind leg anyway. Until Huey P. Long gets to the White House and takes over the government, nobody is ever going to be anybody, let alone a king. Huey is right when he says that only he can make America work again. Fierce with resentment, the man squints through the shimmering heat that rises above the flames. The fire is snapping like a whip. In a few minutes, old Miss Murchison up the road, this is her pasture, this little patch along the creek, will see the smoke and run to the telephone. These days, Darling has a new fire truck and a new alarm that gets the hot dogs moving faster. They'll be here before the fire can burn as far as the trees along the creek, so there won't be any serious damage. Damage? The fire starter chuckles grimly. He's actually doing old Lady Murchison a favor. High time this little pasture got burned off. Come spring, the grass will be thicker and greener, and the weed seed will be burned up, which is all good, isn't it? The old lady ought to thank him. That's what she ought to do. But will she? Of course not. Nobody's grateful these days. He shakes his head disgustedly. Everybody's out to get whatever they want, and the devil take the hindmost. He turns back toward his car, parked along the road. He's done what he came for, and the fire boys will be here pretty quick. Time to be on his way. Chapter 1. That's politics for you. Saturday, August 31st, 1935. The thick green vines of the pole beans in the garden next to the Darling Dahlias clubhouse were heavily loaded with bright green Kentucky Wonder string beans. Which was a very good thing, Bessie Bloodworth thought, since it was the Dahlias' turn to feed the crowd at the annual supper for the men and boys of the volunteer fire department, collectively known as the Hot Dogs. Bessie's Cajun green bean casserole, a recipe borrowed from a Louisiana cousin, was on the menu. So she, Aunt Hetty Little,